Hey everyone, welcome to Data Millennials. I'm Atul and I'm super excited to talk to you about SQL null values today. Before we go ahead and write some queries to check for null values, let's first understand what exactly is null value and how it can cause a big problem in your data analysis. So let's think about null values for a second. What exactly it is? Is it a blank space or is it an empty value? What exactly is null representing in a table? Well, actually, null is the term which is used to represent a missing value, or you can say that a null value in a table is a value in a field that appears to be blank. When a field that has null value is actually the field that has no value whatsoever, and it's very important to understand that a null value is different from zero or blank space. So how does a null value can cause a problem to your data preparation or in your data analysis? In real life, it will definitely cause a problem when you will be selecting your data for your analysis, because when you write a query to compare a known value to a known value, which in our case is null, then the result is always unknown and it will not be included in the result set. So the next question arises is that how we can overcome this issue. In order to overcome with null values, the issue with the null values is that you must use is null or is not null operator to check whether your table has null value in that specific field or not. So let's go and write some queries to check the null values in the table. So we have a table here, promotional mail, under this database email data, in which we have to check whether any of the column contains null or not. So what we'll do is that we will simply write select a statement, select star from, and then we'll put the database and then the table name, which is promotional mail. So the database is email data and the table name is promotional mail. And in order to check whether a particular column is having null values or not, is that we have to give the column name and then check whether that column has null or not. So what we'll do is that simply we'll put select a star from email data dot promotional mail, and then we'll run this line. So you have 150 rows returned, and we can see that we have sent date, product type, product subtype, then subscriber ID, mail received, mail opened, clicked, mail opened day, and mail opened time. So what we'll do is that we'll try to find out the null values one by one for each of these columns. So the first thing that we'll do is that after the table name, we'll put a condition using where clause. So we'll put where, and then we'll put the first column, which is sent date. We'll put sent underscore date is null. So what this line will do is that it will check whether the sent date column has any value which is null or not. So we'll run this line. So after running this line, you can see that we have 0 rows here. So there is no null value in this column in the sent date. So the next column that we have is product type. So we'll put product type, and again we'll run this line. Even product type doesn't have null value. So let's go and check product subtype. And now we'll run this again. Even product subtype doesn't have null values. So the subscriber ID is the primary key. So we know that the primary key cannot have null value. So we leave out the subscriber ID and we'll check for mail received. So we'll take mail received and we'll run this line again. Now we know that there are 3 rows which has null value. As you can see here, mail received is null. So this is how basically we check whether a particular column has null values or not. So now when you are extracting the data, what you have to do is that you have to exclude these null records, and then we have to get our data. One more thing that you have to understand is that when you will see this with this output, you will see that wherever is null, the product type is test. You can see that A test is the product type, product subtype is A1 test. So this means that in this table, these are the 3 test records which has been inserted when this table was created. That's why these column mail received, mail opened, clicked, mail opened day, and mail opening time is null. So this is how you basically use the is null operator to check whether a column has null or not. So now we know that there is a null value in our table in this particular field, mail opened or mail received, clicked. Then how we can filter out these results that should not have null values in it? So earlier we have written the query that will filter out the result which has null, right? Now suppose you have to get the data that doesn't have null value in the specific column. So how we can do that? To do that, we have to use is not null operator. So what we'll do is that we'll put is not null operator in our query in a simple select statement. So we'll write select star from email data from promotional email, right? Now how will we know that our data set has excluded the null values when we run the query? In order to know that, what we will do first is that we'll run this line of query first, okay? And when we'll run this query, we will know that how many rows are there in our data set. So you can see that there are 13,000, sorry, you can see that there are 1,33,926 rows when we ran this select star from this table, right? We have 1,33,926 rows, and within these rows there are fields which has null. So for getting the data which doesn't have null, we'll take the clicked value. For example, we'll only filter out the rows which doesn't have null in the clicked column. And then what we'll do, we'll write where clicked is not null, and then we'll run this. So ideally there were 3 rows which had null when we ran our this query. So we'll run this and we'll try to check how many rows we are getting. So when we ran this line, we have 1,33,923 rows returned. So now we can know that when we ran this query with null, where the mail received, or when we can check that where clicked is null, when we'll run this, we'll get 3 rows. 3 rows is here, right? And when we are trying to get the data where clicked is not null, it should be 3 less than the total number of rows. So the total number of rows is 1,33,926. When we run this code, we have 1,33,923 rows. So we are absolutely sure that our record or our query is correct, and the query is giving us the correct output. So this is how basically we use is null and is not null.
Hey, if you find this video insightful, then do check out other videos and hit the like and subscribe button.